It was a beautiful day on the island of Sodor, and Gordon was hanging out with Percy and Thomas.
"Why are you still here, Gordon?" said Thomas. "Yeah, Gordon," said Percy. "I thought you were going to leave for your route about an hour ago."
"I'm waiting for my engineer to get here. I don't know where he is," said Gordon.
Cranky, who was overhearing the conversation, looked down at Gordon and said,
"I think he's on his way. I saw him just behind the sheds a little bit ago."
"You're right, Cranky. I felt him just get on," said Gordon. "It's time for me to be on my way."
And he was on his way. As Gordon made his way around the island of Sodor, he thought he suddenly heard a great big rumbling sound. Gordon was surprised to find Hiro, who was broken down on the same track that he was on.
"Hiro, why are you on the same track as me?" said Gordon.
"I think the route planners got mixed up and had us going the same way. We could have gotten into a head-on collision," said Hiro.
"What a scary thought," said Gordon. "And it looks like you're broken down too. Is that right?"
"Funnels and fireboxes, Gordon. I am broken down," said Hiro. "What do you think we should do?"
"I have an idea, Hiro. It involves getting in touch with that lovely white helicopter that seems to always be available to help out when trains are in trouble," said Gordon. "I'm going to get in touch with him right now."
Moments later, Harold the helicopter was able to swoop down and find the two engines that were talking, and he landed right on the track. Harold quickly faced Hiro so he could have a conversation about what had happened. "Are you okay, Hiro? It looks like it's not very fun being stuck right there in the middle of the track, especially knowing that Gordon was coming your way." "I've been better, Harold," said Hiro. "But I'm so glad that you're here because I know you're going to help save the day." "I sure will," said Harold. "Gordon said that there was a loud thump, almost like thunder. Let me see if I can figure out what happened." And Harold quickly took off to see what was going on. It didn't take Harold long to see that there was something wrong with the tracks. Right there in the middle of one of the curves was a tender.
"I wonder if this is what Hiro hit and caused that really loud noise," Harold said to himself.
Knowing he was very good with deductive reasoning, Harold decided to report back to Hiro and Gordon. My friends, Harold said as he landed on the track. "I think I figured out what the problem is."
"Oh, thank goodness," said Hiro. "It happened so fast that I don't even know what happened."
"Don't worry, Hiro," said Gordon. "I'm positive that Harold figured it out."
"There's a green tender that's hanging out on top of the track just behind where Hiro is," said Harold. "I'm pretty sure that that's what caused the problem."
"I thought I saw a flash of green," said Hiro. "But I just figured it was one of those Sodor anacondas that sometimes makes its way on top of the tracks."
"Nope," said Harold. "I'm positive it was a tender. I saw it with my own two eyes." Gordon knew what he had to do. "I'm going to move that tender for you, Hiro. What are friends for?" he said. "I'll be back soon." And he quickly raced off. It wasn't before long that Gordon knew he'd be approaching the green tender. "Here it is," Gordon said to himself. "I wonder how I can move such a big green tender in the middle of the track." Suddenly, Gordon had an idea. "If I turn myself around and I shunt the green tender with my blue tender, I think that will move it off the track. I'm going to give that a try." Gordon tried backing into the tender, but it just would not budge.
"Wait a minute," Gordon said to himself. "I'm one of the strongest trains on the island of Sodor. I should be able to just push through that green tender." And he decided that was what he was going to do next.
With all of his might, Gordon was able to push the tender out of the way. Because Gordon was so strong, the tender flew in the air.
and landed by one of the working caves.
Gordon approached Hiro, knowing that he was going to be able to shunt him back to Tidmouth's shed.
Thank goodness for you, Gordon, said Hiro. You saved the day.
My pleasure, Hiro, said Gordon. We'll be back home soon.
It wasn't before long before Gordon and Hiro were back at Tidmouth's sheds with Percy and Thomas.
Percy, Thomas, you would not believe the day that Hiro and I had.
I agree, said Hiro. It was pretty crazy.
I like crazy stories, said Percy. Me too, said Thomas. What happened?
Well, said Hiro, I thought I hit a big green anaconda snake, but it turns out it wasn't. It was a green tender, and Gordon found me, and we almost had a head-on collision, and then we didn't, and then Gordon called Harold, and Harold landed, and then he went to figure out what happened, and he did, and there was a green tender on the track, so Gordon went to find the green tender, and then he found it, and then he tried to back into it, and then that didn't work, so then he tried to go through it, and he did, and it went flying, and it landed by one of the caves, and then he shunted me back here.
That was a near-perfect account of what happened today, said Gordon. I'm honestly impressed that you caught every part of what happened, said Gordon.
Hiro started to blush. I have a really good memory, because I ate all my yogurt and my fruit pack and all of the food that my mommy and daddy fed me every single day. And it's served me well ever since, now that I'm a grown train. You are a pretty big train, Hiro, said Percy. I agree, said Thomas. I bet you wouldn't have hit that green tender on the track if someone just cleaned it up after it fell there. It reminds me of tripping on toys and not cleaning them up when I know that I should.
Gordon knew that Thomas was onto something. I agree, Thomas, he said. When I was a little train, I always picked up after my toys. It made my mommy and daddy happy, I never got hurt, and then accidents like the one that happened today to Hiro didn't happen.
All of the trains agreed that whoever left that green tender on the track should have picked it up. Then, the accident with Hiro would never have happened. Just then, Harold decided that he was going to go land on Tidmouth's sheds so he could talk to his train friends. Did I hear you all talking about cleaning up? Said Harold.
You sure did, said Percy. We were all talking about how important it is to clean up after yourself.
I couldn't agree more, said Harold. I think that we'll start to do our best to make sure we clean up after ourselves here on the island of Sodor. And all of the trains agreed. Before the sun went down, Gordon decided to go to the top of the sheds to watch the sunset.
I'm glad I was able to help my friend Hiro and be a very useful engine, Gordon thought to himself. I cannot wait to see what tomorrow brings.
And he went to bed.